Pasa mi gente, Tio Lalo here with you again. Today, we are finally going to finish custom Colt lettering on this 38 Super, named The Last Supper or La Última Cena. If you've been following me, you know this has been quite a work to get. We're going to be using the Lindsay air graver. Just making sure tip is still sharp. We're still sharp. We're good. All right. So let's get going. All right. Let's see what we got here. Again, guys, if you're tuning in and asking questions, I can't see the screen until I come off the microscope, so please be patient with me. There's the eye. Sorry, I'm just throwing on some background noise. I'm just throwing on some. Appreciate you guys tuning in, guys. Again, we're just hand engraving the lettering on this Colt 38 Super frame, or not frame, sorry, the slide. Okay, almost done with the end. We're just adding the accents on the top to give it that 3D look. The big reason I like hand engraving lettering is because you can give it that gleam, that shine. And yeah, that's why I like it. It just gives that glint versus like something like this. This is either printed or lasered. I think this one was lasered by the manufacturer. And you can obviously see that's been polished and everything, and it still doesn't have that same glint as something like a bright cut flare or bright flare cut that you get with some hand engraved job. If you guys stay tuned to the end, I will show you the entire slide that we've got here. If you haven't tuned in on any of the other streams, if you don't have time to stick around, then I'd suggest heading over to my live streams and checking out where I'm hand engraving the scroll portion of this to check out some of the other, like the other parts of this slide. All right. The reason I can't just show you the design is because it's technically covered right now by the vice grip. So it's not that I don't want to show you guys right now, it's just it would be a hassle to take it out. Again, guys, lettering is probably one of the hardest things to get right when it comes to hand engraving because, well, everybody knows lettering. Scroll work, you can get away with it a little bit because some people don't understand scroll work. So if you botch a part, it might not completely look completely whack. But there's not much room for error when it comes to letters, because anybody can see where there's errors. Like there's an error right there. I'm gonna have to fix that. Okay, we're good there. Volume in the back. I've got. I'm actually gonna throw some music on in the background. And we will hit this with a light buff. We don't want to over buff when you've hand engraved something. It really takes the character out of it. Sometimes the sharp lines that you like with hand engraving are kind of diminished, and so that's why you buff everything prior if you can, and then very light buff at the end just to fix any small scratches that maybe you rubbed into it while you were working on it. Okay. Just gonna throw in some light music in the background for me. Sam A, it just depends on the job, but usually I try, like in today's economy here in the U.S., I try to have about a shop rate of about 50 bucks an hour. The industry standard for like laser engraving, when I laser engrave stuff, is actually $60 an hour. So I charge less for hand engraving, but it does take longer with hand engraving. So that's kind of where the difference comes in. But yeah, it comes out to about 50 bucks an hour for a shop rate. There's a C, I've got to give it a slight accent. Tony, as far as like getting into this, I think it's just like any other art out there. You do something, you see it, and for me it was like, how can I make art that's going to I guess last generations and that people will be proud of to look at. And for me, I was like, well, I mean, this is, engraving art, whether it's repoussé, engraving, metalwork, things like that. I mean, it lasts a very long time. Hand engraving there's like samurai swords out there, hundreds of years old, that have engravings, like Japanese engravings on them, and in many other cultures. And so I figured that this is the art form I want to give people and have people be proud of what I'm giving them. So yeah, that's kind of what motivated me to get into it. As far as mistakes go, guys, at a certain point you kind of accept some mistakes. Some you can fix. If you can fix it and you're absolutely positive that you can fix it, then fix it. Like if sanding or something, polishing fixes it, then fix it. If you don't think you can, it's better to just leave it. There's a pretty good saying when I was military exercises. Find yourself in a bad position. There's no point in hurrying to get yourself deeper into crap. So you might as well take a second, assess the situation. So I usually, before I fix any mistakes, assess it. If I think for sure that I can fix it, then I'll fix it with like sanding or maybe some buffing. Maybe like, letters are kind of unforgiving. But scroll work, you can actually fix some of your mistakes by just kind of like tattoos. People will kind of blend something else into it. But with letters, it's kind of hard because once you've done it, people can see it, and there's not much left for room for errors. So that's why you'll see me take my time tonight. Real delicate taps, so not not super hard, not super aggressive on the graver. Very little pressure, guys. Like, there's like really no pressure. I'm letting the hammer do the work and guide, and just controlling the angle of the tip as we go in and out. And then that's why you have this slight heel right here. This heel really chooses how deep you go. Jason, thank you. Appreciate it. So, all right, let's see. Let's get this one in. We flare, and then we just give a nice bright wide cut. And the graver we're using, guys, is a 120-degree graver, 120-degree graver. And that just means the angle that meets right here on the blade, on the tip. And this is a 120-degree graver. And so all right, let's see. Try to get in the right spot, make sure that I start right. There we go. There's that one. Now we finish this end. Again, guys, at the end of this, I will, once we're done with the letters, so we've got, what, one more letter after the end, I'll take it off the vise and show you the rest of the slide. Now, this was this slide, how I did it, it's a hybrid slide. So I designed and drew up a 3D map that I wanted engraved and sliced by laser, because I'm just not quite good enough for sculpting yet. So hopefully one of these days, it'll be years probably, before I'm good enough to sculpt. So right now I have to rely on the laser until I'm good enough to sculpt. So those guys that sculpt guns, man, those guys are fantastic artists. Hopefully one of these days I'll be that good. For now, I am not, so I don't want to pretend or tell you guys that I am. I'm decent with this kind of engraving. But if you look up like Phil Kogan or Ken Hunt, man, those guys, they are absolute masters when it comes to sculpting. How that bottom of the A came out. I'll go this route, even it out. Awesome. All right, guys. Sorry, I haven't been on here. The talking quill. So yes, I will stencil stuff out depending if I can hand draw it. Usually everything's hand drawn prior, and then I put down. So for this font, yeah, I used a laser for the. I printed everything out that I wanted it to look like, and then I gave it an initial sketch. Some people use ink. I've used ink. The laser's just faster. That's really the only reason why I use the laser, is if I have that tool, I might as well use it. And then hand engraving just looks so much better than any laser that I can do. So that's why I go in with hand and get it out of the way. Other methods we can do, we could do it by hand, but usually for fonts, especially lettering, you want to either do an ink transfer or, like I do, a laser. So But ink transfer and laser, kind of the same thing. It just gives you a really good outline of what you need to do. Okay. All right, guys. Awesome. Thank you for sticking with me. Tools, as far as this is the Lindsay Air Graver, guys. It's pneumatic, so it's by air. I have a compression on the foot. So as I push down on my foot, you hear it go. So, all right, guys, let me go ahead and show you what we got here. Since I promised everyone that I was going to do it, let me give it a quick clean with some alcohol. And then I'll show you what we got. All right. All right, guys, here we go. Grand reveal of everything. Now that we've basically got it done, we are going to get it plated this coming week, hopefully, or blued. So, as you can tell, we need to, we will be polishing it a bit. You don't want to over polish with the engravings, but we'll take some of these micro scratches out for sure. So this is La Última Cena, and it basically, I mean, in Spanish is obviously the Last Supper. So we've hand engraved all this. This is laser engraved right here, a design that I made. Obviously, it's just the Last Supper. 3D mapped it. Then we engraved the scroll. Come up here. And then there's that right there. Also engraved all the scroll work around there. Then here we have Archangel Michael defeating the devil. Back here. And then obviously the lettering that you guys have followed this week. Colt Custom 38 caliber Última Cena. So yeah, guys, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And we'll be working on some more of these art pieces as time goes on. I call these art pieces, not so much, pew-pews, what people call them. This is my canvas. And, so 38 Super, Ibrahim. So, all right, guys, well, tonight is a quick one. That was a quick one just because I wanted to finish it off. If you guys have any questions, ask them now. If not, we're going to be tuning off. Please, again, subscribe, like the videos, and, until next time, we will be creating some art. So, all right, guys, thank you again. Peace out. Have a great night. And, talking koala. All right, so I'll stick on here and just kind of answer a few questions just on it. So, hours-wise, we're into it probably, I'd say, with the engravings, as far as like the laser itself, designing everything, we're probably into it about 100 hours-ish. Now, I know that I'm probably not going to get my time's worth as far as like what I charge usually. And usually something like this is because obviously YouTube live streaming, it takes some time to set up. I, take my time and stuff. So I won't charge people the usual rate. But yeah. Let's see. So Tony, I can't actually show complete works on YouTube Live. I know it's the policies. I've done it in the past and it got me a strike, so I can't do it anymore. Basically, I can only show the upper slide because it is not considered a complete pew-pew, in other words. So yeah. Chevy, rate-wise, I usually try to come out to about $50 an hour when I'm working straight. Obviously, with something like with YouTube Live and stuff like that, I understand that I'm going to take longer, so won't charge those shop rates. Usually, I give a fixed rate on something like this. Something like this, fixed rate, I'd likely, quote unquote, so I can't talk with everything complete down here, obviously, the entire, where I've spent 100 hours. I'd say I would probably charge about a 30-hour shop rate, or 30 hours worth of shop rate on this portion right up here right now. So Spencer Klein, not quite yet. I hope so. Hopefully, I've got a lot of work to do. Hopefully this year to really push the art portion, since this is kind of a side thing. I don't do this full time by any means. So, but it does help when you guys like videos, subscribe, things like that, helping me out. Hopefully, getting closer to being able to monetize. Talking koala, I'd actually go lower, man. Honestly, something like this, I'm gonna say it's gonna end up being lower. It's not outside of the affordable range. It's not something that you're gonna want to go out and use every day, for sure. But it's something that you can definitely not everybody can, but a lot of people can definitely afford. So, Spencer, thanks, man. Well, hopefully you subscribe. We're coming on to off tune here shortly, so. So yeah, guys. Hey, Omega Death. Everybody's inclined to their own, man. Like I said, everybody's inclined on their own opinion. It's my art, and it's what I decided to go with. So. Thank you, Dead. All right, guys. Okay. Well, again, guys, thank you for tuning in. We're going to tune off for the night. Thank you for subscribing, checking out. If you like my art, great. If you don't, that's fine too. Still subscribe and keep creating art until next time. Thank you again.